Hello, and welcome to Grizzly's video, How to Use a Reversible Stile and Rail Set. My name is Kent. This is Sean, an engineer here at Grizzly.
Hi.
Together we'll show you step by step how easy it is to make high quality stiles and rails like these by using one of Grizzly's reversible stile and rail shaper cutter sets. These sets are used every day in wood shops all over North America and beyond for making cabinet doors and entryway doors. After almost 30 years selling shapers and shaper cutters, we continue to provide our customers with the highest quality, best performing shapers and shaper cutters available today. This video is one in a series of how-to videos we are producing, making it easier for our customers to upgrade and maintain their Grizzly equipment. This video is designed to give you an overview of the procedure and to help you visualize the process, and should be used in conjunction with the instructions that came with your shaper. And we recommend that before you start, you read and become familiar with your owner's manual in its entirety, including all safety instructions. You can also call our technical support at 570-546-9663 if you need further assistance about the machine. But most important, follow all shop safety procedures. And remember, there are no more important safety devices than these. The C2316 Reversible Stile and Rail Set features a classical profile and a 1/4 inch tongue and groove. These carbide cutters have very sharp, precision ground cutting edges to maintain a high quality cut and identical profiles every time. The C2314 through C2317 Reversible Stile and Rail Sets allow you to shape 3/4 inch material into door stiles and then simply reverse the cutter components to shape the door rails. This set is bored for 3/4 inch spindles and comes complete with a ball bearing guide, shims to adjust for that perfect fitting joint, and adapter bushings for use with 1/2 inch spindles. For safety and best results, we recommend using a shaper with adjustable fences and a miter gauge, like this G1026 3 horsepower shaper. Let's get started. First, make sure the machine is disconnected from the power source. Make sure the fence faces are lined up parallel with the miter slot. If not, adjust them so they are. We'll set up to cut the stiles first. Place the profile cutter onto the spindle, followed by the flat cutter and bearing. Make sure the cutting edges are facing to the right. Thread the 2 spindle nuts on and use wrenches to tighten the first nut against the cutter, and then lock the second nut against the first. Lower the spindle until only the bearing is sticking above the table, and then use a straight edge to align the fence faces with the edge of the guide bearing. Now raise the spindle until the top of the flat cutter is between 1/8 and 3/16 inch below the top of the stile material. This will determine the offset between the door frame and center panel. Always remember to lock the spindle once you have the height set. Now it's time to make a test cut. Set the piece to be cut against the fence. If there's a designated face and back to the material, place it with the final showing side down. Turn on the shaper. Use push blocks to firmly hold the material against the fence and then push it steadily through the shaper cutter. When you're finished, turn off the machine. Examine the cut to make sure the cutter isn't too low or too high. Adjust the height and make additional test cuts if needed. Once you are satisfied, you may run your production stile and rail material through the machine to put the profile and center panel groove in all pieces. Don't forget to lock the spindle. When you have finished cutting all your material, unplug the shaper. Now it's time to set up for cutting the rail ends. First, loosen and remove the spindle nuts. Lift off the bearing and flat cutter, and then the profile cutter. Slide the flat cutter and bearing onto the spindle, followed by the profile cutter. Thread the 2 spindle nuts back on and tighten with wrenches as before. Take a piece of the profiled rail material that you just cut and set it next to the cutter. Raise or lower the spindle until the top edge of the flat cutter is lined up with the bottom of the slot in the profile. Lock the spindle and place the miter gauge on the table. Use a square to make sure it is adjusted at 90 degrees to the fence. Place a backing board against the miter gauge to help prevent tear out of your workpiece, and set the workpiece against the backing board with the end against the fence. Turn on the machine, and while holding the workpiece firmly against the miter gauge, feed the workpiece through the cutter. Turn off the machine and unplug it. Now, place the test stile and rail together to check for a snug fit. To make the fit tighter, add 1 or 2 shims on top of the bearing and perform another test cut. Once you are satisfied with the tightness of the joint fit, check to see if the top and bottom edges line up flush. If they do not, adjust the spindle up or down as needed and perform another test cut. Repeat this procedure until the pieces fit together snugly with the top and bottom lined up flush. Remember, some minor sanding is normal, as even the best stock can vary a little bit in thickness from piece to piece. When you are happy with the joint fit and height, you can finish cutting the rest of your rail ends. It is a good idea to stop and double check the fit of the rail ends with the stiles periodically if you're cutting a lot of material. Now, let's make some more sawdust.